International ProStar 09. We're chasing ground fault, but I wanted to show you guys these things with these tips and tricks with the wiring, because a lot of guys are afraid of wiring. They don't like it, scares them, and that's good, because these batteries, you know, I've got 4 1000 amp batteries or 1100 amp batteries in my truck. That's more than enough power to weld 1/4 inch steel, plate steel, if you were to short out your battery posts, not to mention the chance of explosion. So whenever you're working on truck electric, always make sure that you have removed, if you're working on the heavy duty side of electric, that means starter, alternator, make sure you remove every positive battery cable. Now the ProStars come with 3. There's 1, 2, 3 leads running to the positive side of your battery bank. Always make sure you remove them, period, and make sure that they don't rest back on your battery terminals. The other thing to make sure of, once you remove them, don't let it touch the frame while the negative side of the battery, while the other positive cable's still hooked to the battery, because obviously what you're doing is creating one hell of a short that actually could cause your battery bank to explode or erupt, boil out right there in your face, and that would be very, very hazardous to your good looks. And I'm going to try and show you this one-handed, but here's that negative connector I showed you. It's smashed with a hammer. Actually, if you look on here, up here, let's see, up here along the ring, most of these connectors tell you the size. This connector is actually for a 4-gauge wire. Well, I learned that the cable here is actually 6-gauge wire, which is 1 diameter smaller than 4-gauge wire. So why is that? Why does that matter? You know, obviously on this situation they used a connector that was just big and giant. Well, this connector here, and I don't know if I can get it to do it and hold the camera, is a perfect example. It's been, instead of crimped, it's been smashed on with a hammer. It's 1 size bigger than the wire. Let me see if I can make this happen. I don't know if it's going to focus on it. There we go. Wow, I really like this new phone. This is the Galaxy Note 3 phone. But anyway, you can see that I'm able to pull these strands out with my fingers, because it's the wrong size connector. It's been hammer crimped. There's no heat shrink tubing on it. And you can see the end of this copper wire here, where it went up inside the connector. It's all corroded. Here's the end that was cut and stripped out. See how clean that is? That's back up inside the sheathing. Here's what I've done. Here's my new negative wire. Well, it's not new. The wire's not new, but I stripped it back, and I have the correct, and now that I've learned that I can do micro focusing, you can see here that it says 6 by 3/8. The 6 represents the gauge size. The 3/8 is the hole diameter, which is our bolt-on battery terminals. Now, the other thing I've done is I've stripped the wire back to where it fits snugly into the end. So we've got our wire going in, and see, it just barely push it tight, and I can push the sheathing right up to the end of the connector there. Now what I do, and again, this is because these are heavy use vehicles, I use dielectric grease here on the end of my wire, and before I push it in the connector. Dielectric grease is basically silicone, and the term dielectric means it's non-conductive. And it helps prevent oxygen, moisture, corrosion from getting into your connection. So then you take your connector and you feed it on there, and you check to make sure none of the little braids are sticking out. We don't want any strands of copper sticking out. And we got that nice little mushroom of grease, and what that does is it seals the end of the wire. Now, I'm gonna try and crimp this I'm gonna try and crimp this for y'all on video and see if we can't. Nope, I can't do it. I'll have to stop the video and get back because I don't have the right size jaw in the crimper. So I will be right back with you. Okay, now that's a cool function too, because I actually paused the video while I was taking it. Anyway, here's my wire end in the crimper. I've got everything snugged up. You can actually see I'm holding it, pushing in, applying inward pressure to the crimper, holding the wire in the connector. I'm going to go ahead and set the phone down, crimp it,